We got a frozen screen. All right, something's going on. Let me reset. Hold on. All right, so I think we still good on the live stream. I don't know what's going on over here, but so we back in for the room. All right, we back. We're back. So, whoa. So at this time, because everything's, crashing on us, I just want to open the floor up for questions, comments, and concerns. Everybody you can turn your screens on, all of that. Good stuff. I don't want to lose you guys before we get too late here. And it's 8:13. Like I said, we try to go till 8:30. So we got about 15 more minutes left, and I wanted to get in any questions you guys got in the last little bit of time.
Peace.
Islam, peace.
What's homework?
Say what?
I said, what's the homework?
The homework for next week. That's a good question. What would be the homework? Homework. I would say the homework. Let's see. Every day. We got a question. Hold on. Well, what? I want to know what is it that you guys are having questions about right now so far, and then we'll go from there. This treaty, he said this treaty. You want to go over Treaty of Peace and Friendship this week? Yes? All right. So that'll be the homework. Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1787. And if you've got this book, it should be around page 55. It'll look like this. If you've got it in the treaty book. All right. If not, I'm gonna and you're on the Podio or whatever, you linked in with Active Moors. Hold on, let me mute this out. If you've you got linked up and everything on the Podio and Active Moors, I'm gonna put a link on there to the treaty, and we're gonna go through it next week, and I'm gonna hit some highlights because I don't want to go too deep into it because we could spend the whole week on whole 2-3 weeks on it if we wanted to, but I just want to try to hit some highlights so we kind of get over the hump with it. And whatever questions you've got, try to email them to me ahead of class. If if you read it and you got some questions or whatever, try to give them to me at least 2 days ahead of time, and then I'll do something and try to get you a response together, so we'll be good to go from there. But like I said, last 15 minutes, so we can actually end the class short if you guys didn't have any questions or comments. But I'm gonna open the mics back up for y'all. And shouts out to everybody on Ustream checking us out. But yeah, just open floor.
Is the Ustream giving you any issues?
I'm on my iPad, so I really can't tell. Something happened earlier, and it cut off.
See, now you're getting choppy again.
It's getting choppy. Let me reset. Aye. All right. So next week, Treaty of Peace and Friendship. 1787. We'll go over that. So you said you liked tonight's class. What did y'all learn? What did y'all get from this? I felt like
you wrapping up?
Yeah, I'm wrapping up.
Ask a question.
Yeah, ask a question. Go for it.
Why is the treaty the longest lasting treaty present day?
All right. The reason why the treaty is the longest lasting treaty present day Short version, because we're wrapping up. When the Sultan transitioned, right, the son naturally got the rights in the heirship, right? But when you look at the treaty, and this is kind of rolling into what we're going to get into next week, when you look at the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, at the end of it, it says, Article 25, this treaty shall continue in full force with the help of God for 50 years. We delivered this book into the hands of the before-mentioned Thomas Barclay on the first day of the blessed month of Ramadan in the year 1200. I certify that the annex is a true copy. All right, blah, 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 right? So it's a 50-year treaty, right? So it says 50 years according to that. Now, when we boiled down what was going on to the lowest common denominator, they were colonists, they were foreigners, and all this type of stuff. We had the land. It was ours, okay? When we gave them this treaty, look at the treaty as similar to a lease agreement that you would have for an apartment, all right? Where the landlord is giving you the term for the lease. At Article 25, and it's saying, all right, it's going to be 50 years, right? And just like you know, with an apartment, when that lease comes up at the end of the year, you have the option to renew, right? And that renewal, it can be based in the contract itself, right? Or it can be renewed based on the actions of the party, based on basic international customs and whatnot, right? So if the rent is $1,000 a month, and I've got in the lease that at the end of the lease, the rent's gonna remain $1,000 a month, and then you have to pay, say, an overage fee or whatever, or a month-to-month fee, right? Realize that the Europeans had tribute payment they were making to us. All right. When we're talking about the treaty and them being here and looking at it as a lease agreement, they had the right to do business on the Moorish estate at the ports, right? Which is the little bit of land at the edge of the sea, right there by the beach. That treaty gave them the right for 50 years to do business at the ports. And then in the area of those ports, they had the right to build whatever homes that they may need for storage and things of that sort, right? So in the midst of that, in the 50-year time span, a lot happened, all right? So fast forward to, going back to what I was saying before, when the Sultan died and he transitioned form, the son picked it up. And based on the ship signals agreement, and when you go on the Avalon website, from the link that I give you, you can go in and you can read it. And they kind of talk about this, and we'll get more into this later. And I'll read to you out of the secret journals of Congress, right? The secret journals of Congress, go figure, where they talk about this. Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the Podio. If you're signed in with Active Moors and everything. If not, make sure that you drop your email in the chat, and I'll get you linked up. So the secret journals of Congress. Secret Treaty of Verona, yeah, that's what we were talking about before. But when we talk about the ship signals agreement, it's going to talk about how when the 50 years was up, there was no clear determination as to whether or not the treaty would be dissolved. And if there's no clear determination as to whether or not the treaty should be dissolved, it is renewed for another 50-year term, right? And, as quiet as it's kept, we as Moors have the right, leading up to that 50 years, I think it's 4 or 5 years leading up to that, we have the right to, or either party actually has the right to say, hey, we want to make an amendment or we want to dissolve this treaty entirely, right? But every 50 years, what happens? The Moors are still asleep, right? And the Europeans are still operating, claiming to be the free white persons. So they, through proxy, as they've done time and time again, sign their name to the dotted line on our behalf and renew the treaty, and everything goes on hunky-dory. So that's part of why it's the longest unbroken treaty, but next week I'll get into some more historical facts as to why it's the longest unbroken treaty. But I hope that helps kind of answer your question, Islam.
Islam. I was trying to type, but it's freezing up on me. I don't know if you can hear me, but I wanted to ask you one more question. Does the Jubilee correlate or tie in any way with the treaty?
The Catholic Jubilee or the biblical Jubilee?
Say that again. The Queen Jubilee.
Like the Catholic.
You know how they have that celebration.
Yeah, the Catholic biblical Jubilee. Supposed to be every 7 years. Yeah. Depending on who you talk to, who you ask, in '99, and this is kind of going back to what Hannah was talking about in some of his videos. You had a group of Masons, European Masons. Mute y'all out. You had a group of European Masons who were getting ready to reconvey the estate to the Moors, but at the time they were concerned about giving the keys or giving the benefits of government without there being enough Moors who were conscious to the science of government on how to run it. And so that quote unquote Jubilee period skipped over us, and then we had Bush and 9/11 and all that nonsense. There is a correlation, but I personally find more correlation in the cosmos and the astrological end of it, wherein in the Bible it talks about when they asked Jesus, where should we go to set up the last meal and all that, and he said you should go into the town and you'll find a man carrying a pitcher of water, right? And you shall follow him into the house that he shall go. Okay. Well, astrologically, when we talk about cosmology and astrology, realize that the zodiacs are broken up into houses, right? These houses, technically, depending on who you ask, are broken up into 2,500 to 2,800, 2,800 years, 2,500 year cycles, right? So each house or each zodiac covers a particular cycle or a particular 2,600 year period, all right? These periods are also sometimes known as ages, okay? So under the age of Pisces, you had the prophet known as Yahshua or Jesus come, and he did what? 2 fish, fed the multitude, water into wine, right? And then leading up to his transition, he told his disciples, all right, what do we do next? What do we do in the next go around, the next age, right? How do we know what to follow? He said, you're going to follow a man carrying a pitcher of water, right? Now, if you look at any science book about the constellations, the one that covers February is considered Aquarius, right, in the Western culture, and it is outlined in the stars. Okay, this is not Nun Nagi making this up. It's not coming out of the Bible making it up. You can just like connecting the dots. You can trace a man holding a pitcher of water, and then out of that pitcher of water pouring it. Okay, and out of that water is supposed to be water coming out of that. But when you study it and you get into the science, you find out that water is really air, because it's really an air sign. It's not a water sign, and that air is representative of knowledge or wisdom or information. So when you have the Aquarius pouring the pitcher of water or air, he's pouring out information. So you got 2,000, how many ever hundreds of years of information being poured onto the world and onto the masses. So when we talk about the Jubilee and we talk about, yes, the water, and they call it the water bearer, but it throws people off because they don't really understand the science. It's really air that he's pouring out of that jug. But we're in the age of information. The age of Aquarius is the age of information. You know what I mean? People, and it always talks about in the Bible, man and people suffer from lack of knowledge, right? So the Jubilee, the blessing, the end of the curse is when you get the right information. Because when you get the right information, you are able to have a renewing of the mind as well as the spirit. And that is what ultimately heals the soul and allows you to transition, you know, when you transition to the higher plane and not get recycled, you know, back into another body or into a lower form. You know what I mean? The true baptism is mental first. Islam. So that's why I see the correlation in the Jubilee and everything else, because when we start talking about this biblical Jubilee, that to me says that I have to wait on the institution to come to a point to figure out that it's time to give a Jubilee, and you know, I'm not holding my breath on that. Islam. But it's 8:28. If we got any more questions or comments, now is the time. But I got, you can open your mic, you know, and all that jazz. But I'm having fun. I'm going to read. It's like I'm going to read. Hey, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Yo, peace and love, Islam. Thank you. So yeah, that's it. Since Sharice ain't got nothing. Did you have anything on your end, sis? Or whoever this is, this not this with the green, that's typing right now. Cause yeah, man. Oh yeah, Sister Barbara. All right, cool. Thank you. So yeah, Sister Barbara and her family. Shouts out to y'all. You know, peace and love. You know, much love to you guys. And I really, you know, really am excited to hear that it's a family, you know, watching the class and all of that good stuff, because now that means everybody can get together, you know what I mean? That everybody can really get on the same page. And when we get more into these astrologics and getting into some of these other things, it's going to require teamwork, you know, to make the dream work, as they say. All right? So, you know, you guys... love it. Love the fact that you guys are here. Make sure that you know, tell a friend about the class. Like I said, every Friday, 6:30 to about 8:30, we try to do this Eastern Standard Time. Shouts out to MoorishDirectory.com, ActiveMoors.com, More Book, Sharice L. I'm Nun Nagi L. And with that, I say peace and love. Islam. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Islam, Islam. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Peace and love. All right, bye, Ustream. Y'all ride with me. First Ustream ever. Woo!